Okay, hi guys and welcome to the show. And as you can see, I'm in quite literally the middle of nowhere. I absolutely love this weather. I know it looks grey and kind of foggy and misty, but this actually is my favourite type of weather. I couldn't ask for anything more. So today we're going to finally do the review of my Breitling Navitimer. As you can see, even in this low light, well, it's not really low light, but on this foggy day, that blue is just really popping and singing, and absolutely adore this watch. Anyway, guys, very different from New York, as you can see. But you know, to me, this is a real treat. I wouldn't be anywhere else in the world. I absolutely adore England, and even on a grey, foggy day like this, it's just it's my favourite weather. I know it's a bit weird, but trust me, I absolutely adore it. Anyway guys, I've got another couple of miles that way to walk. Okay guys, so I'm going to continue my walk. In the meantime, you guys are going to switch over perspectives and see the full review of my Navitimer. So let's roll the intro and get into this review. Okay, hi guys and welcome to the show, and today I'm going to be reviewing my Breitling Navitimer. This model is the A23322 and this particular one came out in 2003. But before we get into the actual review of the Navitimer itself, I think it's important just to go over some of its quite prestigious history. Many argue that it originated before the Speedmaster. Certainly the Omega Speedmaster came out in, I think, 1957. The exact year that the Breitling Navitimer came out is widely disputed. Some say it came out in 52, some say 53, some even say later 54, 55. But the important thing to notice here is that it predates the Speedmaster and Submariner alike. So in many ways it is the original icon. It's one of the most iconic chronographs and one of the most iconic watches of all time, and that was certainly a big aspect of my admiration for it, and one of my deciding factors to go with the Breitling over the Sin or Zin equivalent. So this very much is a mid-century piece made iconic with this circular slide rule, the bidirectional slide rule, which as you see here in action, and very much instantly distinguishes its iconic design from other aviation pieces. It's a logarithmic flight calculator. It's used to calculate rates and averages, and it really is a pilot's instrument. So, I mean, this is dating back into the mid-century flying days, very much before the digital age. Now, of course, you'll notice I put a little Spitfire. The Spitfire this watch is anachronistic, matching with the Spitfire, as the Spitfire obviously is from the 1940s. Late 30s, 1940s, but you know, with the aviation piece, I thought it was a nice touch. So the logarithmic scale here is actually quite useful. You can use it as a nifty little division multiplication tool, working out fuel consumption, average distances, all these kind of things. And I've got to be honest, I hardly use it other than occasionally a quick little multiplication sum or something along those lines. Division obviously is another one, etc. So let's get the dimensions out of the way. Now this is worthy to note, this is the smaller of the Breitlings, more in keeping with its traditional scale. We have a 41mm diameter, a thickness of 14mm. From lug to lug we're looking at about 47, and then a lug width on the band of 22mm. So quite a large watch, but as you guys know, there are even bigger Navitimers out there, so this is really more suited to the smaller wrist. And I think actually if you have bigger wrists as well, I think it adds a more sophisticated look when you know, over the larger ones. Navitimers have got incredibly large over the years. So this is obviously the blue dial version with the baton hour markers, a beautiful applied detail. We have this stunning, very subtly domed sapphire crystal on the front. On the back we have what's become this really kind of trademark of the Navitimers, that beautiful engraved logo there with, again, another little scale on the back, really in keeping with that avionic aesthetic, with a little kind of screw down case back with, of course, these notches instead of just that go around. Very nicely done. The case, of course, is, as you'd expect from a Breitling, is completely polished. I can't find any brushed surfaces on this whatsoever. It's definitely kind of a little bit more flashy than a lot of tool watches out there, certainly more so than the Speedmaster. Beautiful signed crown there, and these lovely lugs here that are all completely polished. Even though it is a 22, the lugs are quite thin and narrow, and it helps it wear a little bit smaller. We have these beautiful pushers here for the chronograph. Obviously we'll engage the chronograph there. And as you see, there's a lovely kind of sunburst effect on the blue of the dial. There's a really nice depth to the dial that is just makes looking at the dial so enjoyable. Looking at the chronograph, look, the hand has a lovely dash of red on the arrow on the end, and that beautiful Breitling B anchor on the second hand. Very thin applied loom on the hour and minute hand, and we have 3 subdials, again with a little bit of recessing, a little bit of recessed dial. If we look at it at an angle, you can see that there's a nice kind of added depth even to them. And of course, if we just reset stop the chronograph and reset, quite bog standard operation there, similar to most chronographs. We have a date window in white at the 4:30 position, and what I love about the Breitlings is that lovely winged aviation themed logo with the anchor and the B in the center, done in a kind of gold print, just applied beautifully, really nicely done. I absolutely adore that. We have the seconds to the main clock on the left, and then on the right 3 o'clock, and the 6th position we have the minutes and hours. We have a lovely contrast of a white on the white in a rotating bezel to the blue, and of course all the little scales, you can see logarithmic scales going around the outsides, and it's quite a busy dial, but it's just become so kind of interesting and beautiful to look at. I'm not a pilot, but I just love its aesthetic. It's just something, it has a romance to it. It has that kind of classic look. There is something about aviation watches, especially the Breitling, that is just so captivating and interesting to look at. Just like the Submariner and the Speedmaster, the design really hasn't changed that much. The contemporary Navitimers are instantly recognizable to their ancestors. So this beautiful concave dial that just adds so much richness to the experience of looking at it. Inside we have the contemporary, this is the more contemporary Breitling movement, the caliber 23, which is a chronometer certified, COSC certified movement. So we got, you know, -4 to +6 seconds per 24 hours, which is hugely, obviously, really respected and fantastically accurate movement. And it has to be, because it's an aviation watch. You know, when we're looking at journeys and fuel consumption, distance, all that, it's got to be accurate. And of course this movement is based on the Valjoux 7753 movement, which is a very highly accurate, hugely durable workhorse movement. Has just become so kind of respected and hugely admired in this genre of watch especially. There is a jump date to the date setting, which personally I'm not a huge fan of. It's probably the only negative I can think of this watch is when setting the date you have to, it's quite a complicated process of you have to pull the crown out, and then go back to the 12 o'clock, wind it back to about 11, and then wind it forward, and then it jumps, and you have to do this quite involved performance just to set the date. It is a little bit annoying. Those of you with Breitlings will know about this, and in fact actually it's despite it being rather annoying it's quite a good way of being able to tell a fake one from a real one, because the fakes obviously don't have that modified value in it. So even though it is annoying, it's quite a good way to differentiate between a fake one. Even though looking at this closely and all the detail, the impeccably finished, beautifully crafted case and does speak for itself. Breitling do cases remarkably well. So obviously it's stainless steel, there's no surprise there. Okay guys, let's just quickly have a look at the loom shot. Okay, here we are guys, having a look at the loom shot, and as you can see, despite being such a small amount of loom, they do really glow nicely, and it's quite easy to tell where the 12 o'clock is because we've got a double pip, slightly hidden by the tip of the arrow hand, the timing chronograph arrow hand, but as you can see, it's quite easy to distinguish where the 12 o'clock is. So I have to say the loom, despite being very small in the amount that's applied, is pretty good. The minute and hour hand really do hold their glow for quite a long time. So I have to say the loom is pretty decent despite its small size. Anyway guys, back to the studio. Okay, welcome back guys. Now, this particular one is on a calf skin strap. Lovely quality strap, beautifully stitched and very thick, and actually the thick strap helps it sit properly on a smaller wrist. Let's do a quick wrist shot for you. We have this quite interesting mechanism with a beautiful signed buckle. I love that winged logo on the buckle. It's kind of little applied logo on the buckle, and they've taken the trouble to do that. So as you see on my wrist, even though on my tiny little wrist it sits very comfortably, and that's assisted by this thick buckle that just helps it prop it up a bit. This would look equally good on the bracelet and on the NATO strap. I feel quite looking forward to getting it on the NATO. Certainly going to be enjoying changing out the strap on this. Very comfortable. My only critique, it is a tall watch, so it's probably not going to be that good with a cuffed shirt. However, it's so refined in nature, and you know, these classic sports watches have become quite dressy. Such a classic look, such an iconic refined look, that I think it actually could work very well with a suit and more formal attire. I know it is not correct, but because it's such a legendary, prestigious, iconic watch, that I think you can get away with it. However, its tallness, as you can see, does not lend itself to more formal attire. But however, in general, it's an outstanding watch, definitely going to be a keeper. It's a bit of a dream come true for me. Apart from the date setting and the slightly tall profile of the watch, those are my only two negatives. Everything else, from the action of the movement to the accuracy of it to the dial, is just beautiful and perfect. It really is close to perfection, and I'm looking forward to dueling this against the Speedmaster. Certainly a definite keeper in my collection, a true icon, a legendary watch, and I just love it and adore it to bits. I'm just so proud to finally have it. Had to sacrifice a few pieces to get it, but I wanted to get it before Christmas, and I'm over the moon, certainly over the moon. Okay guys, so that was my review of the Breitling Navitimer in blue. The reference is A23322, and this particular one came out in 2003, if I didn't mention it earlier. Okay guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it and found it useful, and I'll definitely catch you in the next one. Okay guys, ciao.